All right, we're here at our first stop of the fuel dock, which seems like an opportune time to begin talking about marketing, because marketing is like fuel for your law firm. Get it? All right, in all seriousness, we are taking on 300 gallons of fuel, 150 per tank. We're at 25 gallons per tank right now, so I got a little while. I can teach you a quick lesson on marketing. First thing about marketing is to figure out what you're actually aiming for. So you figure out what is your net income goal. Forget about gross revenue. Is this better without the sunglasses or with?
I like with sunglasses.
You like with?
You see me in them. But
okay.
I like your eyes. Your eyes. Leave them
All right. So, I gotta stop the water. Hang on a second. We just filled the water tank. All right. I'll fix that later. All right. So here's the lesson. You figure out what your net income goal is, right? Let's just say, for argument's sake, that your net income goal, to keep the math simple, is $100,000. $100,000 net income goal. In other words, it costs $100,000 to live the way I want to live in my life. Got it? Now, I'm not saying 100 is the right number or the wrong number. I'm just using this as a simple example to illustrate the formula that will improve the profitability and the effectiveness of your firm's marketing. All right, so you figure out what your net income goal. How much does it cost to live the way I want to live? For argument's sake, we're going to say it's $100,000. Step number 2, you figure out what is the profit margin that I operate my law firm at. You need to know some basic numbers to be in control of your law firm. This boat, for example, I know it holds 150 gallons. I know that at 27 miles an hour cruising speed, we get about a mile per gallon. That means I know that I've got just under 300 miles range. 300 gallons total gives me just under 300 miles range. So if I'm to go from Miami to Bimini, which is 50 miles, I want to have a full tank. I don't need a full tank, but I don't want to be in the middle of the Gulf Stream and run out of gas. If I'm just going for like a little quick jaunt to the sandbar and I only have a quarter tank, no problem. You got to know what you're trying to achieve. So like I said, if you're trying to achieve $100,000 net income and you know your firm operates at, let's just say for argument's sake, a 25% profit margin, right?
And is that good?
It's reasonable.
Okay.
If you're growing a law firm slowly, if you have slow rate of growth, you can probably crank that up to 33, 35%. If you're growing your law firm very aggressively, your profit margin is going to be much thinner because it takes cash to grow fast. A lot of people with a very small law firm, $150,000 firm, I mean, they might be putting 100,000 of the 150 in their pocket, but that's illusory profit because really they're doing
what kind of profits?
Illusory profit. They think they're making.
Is that a word?
Yes, it's a word.
Okay.
Illusory. It's an illusion. They think they're making a profit, but it's not really profit because they're doing the job of the receptionist. They're doing the job of the paralegal. They're doing the job of the associate. They're doing the job of the rainmaker. And so they're basically maybe only have a 20% profit margin, but they've got a bunch of part-time jobs. That's beyond the scope of this. Just to say, for argument's sake, that you want $100,000, and let's just say, for argument's sake, that you're going to run the firm at a 25% profit margin. All right? That means the firm has to gross how much? $400,000. Take your net income goal divided by your profit margin. That tells you how much gross income you need. You'll do some sort of fancy motion graphics to put that formula on here somewhere?
Certainly.
In post-production?
Certainly.
Good. All right.
Yeah.
So let's just say $100,000 net income goal, 25% profit margin means you got to gross $400,000. $400,000. Now you take, let's say, your average case value. Some will be higher, some will be lower, they won't all be the same, but let's just say you figure your blended average case value, to keep the math simple, is $4,000. Well, if you need 100 cases, if you need open and close 100 cases a year, at $4,000, and you got to do $400,000 a year gross revenue with an average case value of $4,000, that means you need 100 cases, right? That's only 8 cases a month. That means you should be opening 8 cases a month, closing 8 cases a month, opening 8 cases a month, closing 8 cases a month. Gets pretty predictable. There's lots of fun. There's lots of ways to have fun and excitement owning a successful law firm. Being crazy and scared shitless about where your marketing is coming from and where your next client is coming from is not. That's a cheap thrill. Don't settle for cheap thrills. Let me just check and see where we are on the fuel.
I'll come with you.
60 and 70.
What does this have to do with marketing?
All right, we're at 60 and 70 gallons. We're halfway there. 60 on one side, 70 on the other. All right, we got to go to 150 and 150. Where does this have to do with marketing? Well, you got to know marketing is the fuel, right? That's the thing that powers your firm. You could have the greatest firm and you could have the greatest. I could have the greatest boat in the world. I could be the greatest captain with the greatest engines and the greatest everything. But if I don't have any fuel, I'm dead in the water. So marketing is important. So so back to the point. $100,000 divided by your average case value of $4,000. $100,000 divided by your profit margin, 25% in this case, means you got to gross $400,000. $400,000 gross, top line gross revenue, divided by your average case value of $4,000 means 100 cases. Means you got to open 8, close 8, open 8, close 8, open 8, close 8, and every time you close the case, you look to see, are we on track with our average case value or not? That's just something you pay attention to. Then you figure your sales conversion rate. Let's just say, for argument's sake, that you convert 1 out of 3 prospective new clients who come to the door. 1 out of 3 prospective clients who come to the door is a pretty decent closing rate because you want to be selective. See, if your marketing is doing its job, you have more cases more prospective clients coming to you than you want, even more than you need. And it gives you the freedom and it gives you the confidence to be very selective about the cases you take. So let's just say, for argument's sake, that you're going to convert 1 out of 3. So if you know you need to open 8 cases a month and you're going to convert 1 out of 3, marketing has to bring in how many cases? 8 times 3 is 24, right? 24 cases a month, 24 prospective new clients a month come in the door with marketing. Sales converts 1 out of 3. That means you get 8 with an average case value of $4,000, which you monitor on the back end. Puts you on track to gross $400,000. You operate the firm at a 25% profit margin. Voila, you got $100,000 to live the way you want to live. There's nothing magic about $100,000. There's nothing magic about $4,000. There's nothing magic about the conversion rates or the profit margins. I was sharing this as an example. Will you be able to, in post-production, put the actual formula so they can actually use the formula and see it? Okay, good. Jimbo will do that. Thank you, Jimbo, for doing this. This is why we bring Jimbo along. All right.
Gotta earn my keep.
Gotta earn your keep. Listen, we all have to earn our keep. Coffee is for closers. Everyone's got to earn their keep. All right. So this is the big thing that most people don't bother to do with their marketing plan, and they say, how much business do you need? And the answer is always more. And the answer is as much as I can get. And the problem with approaching it that way is you have no way of knowing if you're on track or not on track. And it creates some very big problems if you don't have a real actual target that you're aiming for. Because you're always anxious, you're always nervous, you're always uptight. You never know if you have enough, you never know if you have too much. It's a really bad quality of life when you don't track this stuff. Calculate how much marketing actually has to bring to the door, and then keep track of it, and then you'll know months in advance where you stand.
Okay, so to reiterate, the big lesson, marketing is really understanding how many leads need to walk through the door, right?
You start with your net income goal.
Yeah.
One of the pumps stopped at 92 gallons. Yeah, they're going to go to 150 and 150. I'll get back in there and keep it going. Thanks. All right. I know how much fuel I need. I know I need 150 gallons per tank. If I pull out of here with only 92 gallons per tank, I'm not going to have enough fuel, right? This is exactly the way most law firms are operating.
Yeah.
I mean, the analogy just like presents itself. All right?
Yeah.
Can we wrap this up?
Yeah.
I think I taught the lesson. I taught a valuable lesson.
The valuable lesson here is understanding how many leads are coming in through the door that marketing's bringing in so you can make predictable income growth and success and goals. Correct?
Listen, happy lawyers make more money. You get your law firm under control. There's lots of ways to have fun. There's lots of ways to have an exciting life. There's lots of ways to have an exciting, challenging, stimulating career. It doesn't need to be like a frickin' roller coaster to keep you excited and engaged.
All right. So
this is not where you want to get your excitement from.
Perfect. So what should we look forward to in the upcoming videos? What else are we going to cover?
It depends if we're going snorkeling or not. Are we going snorkeling or are we going to the sandbar? That will dictate
Yeah.
whether the next thing we teach is going to be sales or stat. We're either going to talk about how to convert prospective clients into paying clients professionally, ethically, reliably. It's very, very simple to do. Or we're going to talk about all these things in this video series. I just don't know the order. We're going to talk about. We've already talked about marketing. We're going to talk about sales. We're going to talk about how to when and how to hire, train, manage, and make a profit with your staff. We're going to talk about how to document workflow processes and systems and procedures to bring some sanity into your life as the owner of a law firm. So every day is not like a fire drill, crazy chaos fire drill. We're going to talk about marketing, sales, production, people. We're going to talk about physical plant. I don't know where we're going to talk about physical plant, but at some point along the way, we will find something that will give us a inspiration to teach a lesson about physical plant. This is much understood and the most ignored part of a successful law firm, which is why so many law firms have so many problems and they hit the wall because they ignore the physical plant.
I do have one more question.
What's more question?
Are we going to take marketing deeper on the boot camp? The 4-week?
The 4-week boot camp, yeah, I mean, obviously.
We're not calling it a boot camp, but it's a boot camp.
Listen, this is the teaser. If they got one aha, if they got one moment of clarity, if one thing started to become clear, like, oh wow, I see a vision. I can have a better life. I can have more clarity. I can have more predictability in my law firm and in my life. If you got that from this free video, we're going to go much, much, much deeper into this in the boot camp crash course 4-week, the yet to be named thing that this whole thing is leading up to. Yes.
That hundreds of lawyers have been through and loved.
Not quite hundreds yet. This is a new thing that we're experimenting with.
Okay.
But several dozen have been through it and they've loved it.
This is not the guinea pig.
You are not the guinea pig. The guinea pigs were 6 months ago. And they loved it. They loved it.
Tell them to stay tuned for the next video.
Stay tuned for the next video and write in with your questions. If you've got specific questions you want us to address, write in the form below and we will address them for you. All right, I got to check the fuel.